Tonight on ABC News Live Prime, the president says you're fired. Hours after President Trump's unprecedented move to fire Federal Reserve Board member Lisa Cook, alleging she falsified mortgage documents.
We need people that are 100% above board, and it doesn't seem like she was.
Cook's lawyer vows to sue, calling Trump's effort an illegal action. Cook, who has not been charged with any crime, saying, "I will not resign." As National Guard troops patrol Los Angeles and Washington, D.C., could New York be next? New York City Mayor Eric Adams telling ABC News.
Placing federal troops here in New York, I don't see the need for it at all. We are doing an amazing job.
What the president says about where National Guard personnel could be sent next. Anger erupts in Israel. Massive protests and fallout over the Israeli strike on Gaza's Nasser hospital. Demonstrators taking to the streets, setting tires on fire, demanding a ceasefire in Gaza and the return of hostages held by Hamas. An incredible rescue in Hawaii. A police officer carrying a hiker on his shoulders for nearly a mile in the dark with nothing but a single flashlight lighting the trail. What the hiker said to that hero and how the officer responded.
It's a love story, baby, just say yes.
No champagne problems here. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce announcing their engagement to enchanted fans across the globe. Tonight, we take a look back at how the romance began that led us to the power couple we all know too well.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is Prime with Linsey Davis.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Stephanie Ramos in for Linsey Davis. Thank you so much for streaming with us. We begin with the firestorm around the president's move to fire a member of the Federal Reserve Board of Governors. Tonight, Lisa Cook is vowing to sue over what she's calling an illegal firing. Trump is alleging Cook falsified mortgage documents years before her appointment to the board, but she hasn't been charged with a crime. It's not currently clear if Cook will remain on the job while she fights this, and this is a case that many expect ultimately will reach the Supreme Court. But in the meantime, what will it mean for the financial markets? Senior political correspondent Rachel Scott leads us off.
For months, President Trump has put enormous pressure on the Federal Reserve to lower interest rates. And tonight, he's making an unprecedented move to fire one of the Fed's 7 board members, Lisa Cook. He told Cook, who was appointed by Joe Biden, he's removing her because there is sufficient reason to believe you may have made false statements on one or more mortgage applications.
It seems to have had an infraction, and she can't have an infraction. We need people that are 100% above board, and it doesn't seem like she was.
But Cook has not been charged with any crime. The Federal Reserve was designed to be independent. And today, the president was asked if he's just looking for a reason to fire an official he disagrees with.
Is your administration weaponizing government by digging into the mortgage records of officials you don't like?
No, they're public. I mean, you can find out those records. You can go check out the records yourself.
Cook, for her part, says President Trump has no authority to fire her, vowing, "I will not resign." Her lawyer calling the president's move an illegal action and vowing to sue.
And Rachel Scott joins us now. Rachel, you know, President Trump has been critical about the federal interest rate. What is he saying about it now? And any word from the Fed on this firing?
Yes, Stephanie, the president has been very, very critical of the Federal Reserve chair. And so he says he only wants to appoint Fed board members who will lower interest rates, saying that soon we will have the majority. And on this potential firing or removal that the president is trying to move forward with it, well, the Federal Reserve did release a statement today, and they are reasserting their independence, insisting that members can only be removed or fired with cause, calling that a vital safeguard to protect the American people, Stephanie.
Rachel Scott for us there at the White House. Thank you so much, Rachel. Joining us now for more is Texas Republican Representative Pete Sessions. Sir, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. You sit on the House Financial Services Committee. Late today, the Fed put out a statement saying in part long tenures and removal protections for governors serve as a vital safeguard, ensuring that monetary policy decisions are based on data, economic analysis, and the long-term interests of the American people. Are you worried at all, Congressman, that removing a governor could lead to the Fed's independence being compromised?
I think it's pretty clear to me, based upon what I have seen pending, I'm sure we'll hold a hearing, that what occurred was after she has been serving for the government for quite some time, but she committed this act where she allowed, within a short period of time, to sign up for two distinctly different, that she signed under penalties of perjury, two different homestead agreements. And when you violate, in particular, things like this, when you should know better, there's a consequence for that. So I don't think that the president's doing this without cause. He's doing it for the right reason. And if it's not true, then we can handle that too. But if it is true, there's a consequence for it.
Is it concerning at all to you, though, that this comes at a time where we've seen the president call for lower interest rates, and he's been very critical of the federal chair, Jerome Powell, on this? So is it a coincidence that this has now come up, or was this a matter of time? What's your stance on that?
Well, my stance is this has nothing to do with anything other than the woman's actions that she took. Look, the disagreement that the president has with Jerome Powell, who I like very much, is a general question I think I'd be very pleased to get into, and that is, during the Biden administration, Jerome Powell gave $3.2 trillion worth of loans to the Biden administration to help them with their economic policies. Not one vote of Congress and $3.2 trillion given to the United States as a loan from the Fed. I think that there has to be some understanding about circumstances as we are. And right now, I believe that interest rates are higher than what they need to be. That's the president's sole argument. He's simply wanting to find out how he can negotiate with the Fed. And I think that they have said over time they think they can get there. But this matter with this young woman has nothing to do with anything other than her actions that I think are fraud.
So should Cook serve in her position while all of this gets sorted out?
No, I think that it's wrong. If she chose to defend herself, perhaps she has, and to say it's not true. But if you have committed an act of fraud, done it on your own volition, it's your own signature within a short period of time, then that would be no different than committing fraud under any other circumstance, and you would not retain your job. I mean, that's what these important jobs are about, is following the law.
All right, we will see how this all plays out. Congressman Pete Sessions, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. During a cabinet meeting today, President Trump suggested once more he might expand the deployment of the National Guard to other American cities. The president said that crime, quote, is out of control in states like Illinois and New York. Now, this comes as Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker yesterday vowed Chicago will not bend to Trump's idea to deploy the National Guard there, and said the president was not either wanted or needed in the state. And today, New York City Mayor Eric Adams also reacting to the president's comments during an interview with ABC's chief investigative correspondent Aaron Katersky. And Aaron joins us now here in studio. Aaron, what was that conversation like? What did Mayor Adams have to say about all this?
On the one hand, Stephanie, the mayor disagrees with the notion that National Guard troops should be deployed on the streets of the nation's largest city. On the other hand, he does not go as far as someone like the governor of Illinois or the governor of Maryland in really taking on the president head on over this issue. And we know that the mayor has a different relationship with the president. Had it not been for the Trump Justice Department, Mayor Adams might be on trial for corruption now before charges were dropped. And so when I sat down with the mayor, I asked him first to react to this idea that National Guard troops might be deployed here in New York City.
Placing federal troops here in New York, I don't see the need for it at all. We are doing an amazing job. We have brought down crimes in all of our major crime categories. Our subway system, you're seeing it is the safest in the 2 years coming from COVID. You're seeing the safest in decades. We know what we need to do here, and we're going to continue to do that.
The governor of Illinois said largely the same, and he said this is about Donald Trump searching for any justification to deploy the military in a blue city, in a blue state, to try and intimidate his political rivals. Is that what the president's trying to do?
That is his thoughts. My thoughts is safety. Public safety for New Yorkers and Americans are important.
So the mayor stopping short of joining some of his fellow Democrats in criticizing outright what the president is doing, even as he says there's no need in New York City. So, Steph, today the president said for the first time that he would like to put National Guard troops in New York. Governor Kathy Hochul said she spoke to the president about this, told him it wasn't necessary. The president today said he'd like to do it. Kathy Hochul said on social media, no, thank you. So this is very much still up in the air.
And we've also heard from the New York City Police Commissioner that's called this all very unnecessary. It'll be interesting to see if that deployment of National Guard troops do actually happen here in New York City. Many of those soldiers just starting out in their careers. Interesting to watch. Aaron, thank you so much. Thanks for that reporting.
Thanks, Steph.
Shifting gears now just a bit, a massive dust storm and monsoon rains are blowing over Arizona. Wind gusts up to 70 miles an hour are leaving a trail of damage and more than 50,000 homes and businesses in the dark. The wall of dust seen right there swallowed the Phoenix metro area as the storm turned day to night. It blinded drivers and grounded all flights at Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport. WABC's chief meteorologist Lee Goldberg is tracking the heat and fire threat in the Northwest. That forecast in just a moment, but first to those stunning storm images with ABC's Trevor Ault.
Tonight, dust storms and monsoon rains threatening millions after an astonishing and dangerous 24 hours in the Southwest. This massive, towering wall of dust and wind, also known as a haboob, swallowing the Phoenix metro area.
Light rail just disappeared.
Drivers blinded. Cassandra Ravutsky recording this video out her window as the dust blotted out the sun, flashing taillights the only thing visible.
You can see, take a look at these planes that are right here.
Our Phoenix affiliate ABC 15 reporting live from Sky Harbor Airport as that dust wall turned into driving dirt and rain.
It's hard to open my eyes because we are once again getting pelted with rain, pelted with what feels like dust.
Listen to the air traffic controllers telling pilots to stay in the air while they evacuate the tower.
They said that the dust storm's going to be, I got no plane. The visibility's going to be pretty bad for like an hour. We are evacuating.
Not only were flights grounded, one of the terminals sustained damage. The powerful system also taking down traffic lights and trees, with thousands of homes and businesses losing power.
Just an incredible sight there. And Trevor Ault joins us now. Trevor, what is the greatest concern for the Phoenix area right now?
Well, Steph, the most widespread issue for sure is flood watches. Those are in effect for 2 million people, with some areas expecting to see up to 2 inches of rainfall per hour. Now, make no mistake, this region does need this rain desperately, just not all at once. Stephanie?
All right, Trevor Ault for us tonight. Thank you, Trevor. And there's a lot more weather to tell you about. For that, let's get right to WABC Chief Meteorologist Lee Goldberg. Lee, what else are you watching around the country tonight?
Stephanie, watching a cool down from coast to coast in different ways. In the west, it's the monsoon pattern, and there's widespread showers. See flood watches all the way from California to Idaho to parts of Colorado and into New Mexico. These scattered downpours in places can produce rainfall rates of about 2 inches an hour, especially in the areas in yellow. Now, this rain is extinguishing the high heat in the northwest. It's still above normal, but not in the extreme range. But look at these numbers from the Rockies, Plains, all the way to the east. 10 to 20 degrees below average, really feeling like September. Now, the afternoons are comfortable, but there's a little chill in the mornings. I mean, near record lows in Toledo and Memphis on Wednesday morning, Mobile, Alabama, down to about 66 degrees. And then this will last into the weekend. So in the Great Lakes and Northeast, you're seeing temperatures nearly 10 degrees below normal, low to mid 70s from Boston to Philly to New York, and even in the 60s from Cleveland to Syracuse. But also, this extends into next week, so it'll be comfy in the classrooms for the kids returning to school. Stephanie?
A cooler Labor Day weekend ahead. Thank you so much, Lee. Tonight, Cardi B taking the stand in Los Angeles in the second day of a civil suit trial against the rapper for an alleged attack that occurred in 2018 while she was pregnant. Our Melissa Adon has been following this trial for us. And Melissa, bring us up to speed on these allegations against Cardi B.
Yes, Stephanie. So Imani Ellis is accusing Cardi B of physically and verbally assaulting her. All of this happening in 2018 when Ellis was a security guard working at a Beverly Hills medical office building. And she says that's when she ran into Cardi B. She says she remembers that day from 7 years ago. She noticed Cardi B in the doctor's office setting and said out loud, "That's Cardi B." She says after that is when the rapper confronted her violently, telling her not to record her. Ellis says at the moment she had 2 cell phones on her at the time, but she's accusing the rapper of cutting her face with her long fingernails, causing scratches on her face. Well, yesterday she testified, calling the incident traumatizing, but Cardi B contends that this was only a verbal altercation and that there was never any physical confrontation that occurred. Stephanie.
Oh. All right, let's take a listen to what Cardi B says occurred.
Then I hear her talking like, "Oh my God, Cardi B is here." So I turn around and she had her phone. She didn't have it here no more. Now she has it here. And I asked her, "Yo, why are you recording me?" And she clearly looked like the security. She looked like the security guard. She's uniformed down. And I'm like, "Why are you recording me? Are you security?" And she's like, "Oh, my bad."
And Melissa, we just heard her there explain what she says was a verbal altercation. Is there any video evidence of the alleged physical attack?
At this point, Stephanie, there is no video evidence that has been presented. Even so, Ellis says that she never actually recorded Cardi B. So there is no video evidence even on her phone or anything that's been presented here in the courtroom. Look, Cardi B also offered in court today that she wasn't offended that Ellis called her out, but that she was upset that she believed Ellis was recording her near a doctor's office setting at a time when she was pregnant. Mind you, Stephanie, this is a time that Cardi B in 2018 was pregnant with her first child, and she was trying to keep this private, so it was still early on. The rapper even testifying earlier today that she said she hadn't even disclosed to her personal security guard who took her to that medical office. He didn't even know that she was going to an OBGYN clinic. So it just goes to show how close to her chest she was keeping all of this info. Well, today that testimony has wrapped up, but it will restart tomorrow.
All right, we will see how this all develops. Melissa, thank you so much. We move now overseas with a massive day of protests across Israel. Hundreds of thousands took to the streets demanding the government accept a partial deal with Hamas. What is the Israeli government's response? Here's ABC's chief international correspondent, James Longman. James.
Yeah, Stephanie, there's been a huge day of protests today in Israel. At least 350,000 people taking to the streets, not just in Tel Aviv, where we've seen opposition to the government before, but in Jerusalem, across the country too. Families of the hostages have led these protests. They're angry that a deal to get them out of Gaza has yet to materialize. And they feel specifically that Prime Minister Netanyahu is stalling in order to keep himself in power. He's facing these corruption charges. The allegation is that he's trying to keep himself in power and keep the immunity that the Office of Prime Minister provides him with in order to avoid that prosecution. Nevertheless, there is a deal on the table. Hamas, we understand, according to the Qataris, has accepted it. It would be for a 60-day pause in the fighting and partial hostage release. But instead of accepting that, the Israelis are pushing ahead with this military occupation of Gaza City. Meantime, there are still big questions about that strike on Nasser Hospital in southern Gaza that killed at least 20 people, including those 5 journalists. Now, initially, Prime Minister Netanyahu apologized for what he called a mishap. Now, the IDF is saying that there was a Hamas camera at that location, but we still haven't had an explanation as to why that second strike came in and killed all those first responders and those journalists. Stephanie?
James, thank you so much for that report. Hours after the president signed an order targeting American flag burning, a man did just that outside the White House. The U.S. Park Police arrested the man who says he is a 20-year Army veteran for starting a prohibited fire in a national park after he was first detained by Secret Service. The Supreme Court has previously ruled that the act of burning the flag is constitutionally protected speech guaranteed by the First Amendment. Trump and Attorney General Pam Bondi have appeared eager to have the court revisit those conclusions. And tonight we have a major update to that Cracker Barrel logo saga. The company is returning to its old logo. In recent days, the company had announced a rebrand, removing a man known as Uncle Herschel in favor of just a text logo. In the statement, Cracker Barrel said, "We thank our guests for sharing your voices and love for Cracker Barrel. We said we would listen, and we have." This comes, of course, hours after President Trump posted urging the company to switch back to the old logo as well. Coming up here on ABC News Live Prime, the Powerball jackpot now at an estimated $815 million. The next drawing is tomorrow night. Feeling lucky? Well, we'll tell you what your odds are of winning. It's a new take on the late 80s classic, The War of the Roses. Academy Award nominee Benedict Cumberbatch and director Jay Roach talked to our Will Reeve about their new movie. But first, we feel so high school, but it's the love story that's breaking the internet, and we just can't shake it off. You get it? The enchanted look behind Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's engagement. And she did. She said yes. It's the love story turned engagement, heard around the world, and the photo blowing up the internet. Travis Kelce on one knee, there he is in a rose garden, popping the question to Taylor Swift. Everyone's favorite couple dropped the news simultaneously on Instagram today. The fervor surrounding the coupling of 14-time Grammy winner Swift and 3-time Super Bowl champion Kelce has captivated audiences ever since it began. Here's a look by the numbers. Kelce set his sights on Swift in July of 2023 when he attended her Eras tour and tried to slip his phone number to the pop megastar via a friendship bracelet. By September that year, they went public when Swift joined Kelce's mom at a Kansas City Chiefs game. Since then, Swift, who says she never had any interest in football before Kelce, has attended 23 Kansas City games. And as Swift has embraced the sport, so have her fans. With Swift in the stands at the 2024 Super Bowl, a record nearly 124 million viewers tuned in. Thanks at least in part to a 24% jump in young women tuning into the sport and getting a payoff with that memorable post-win kiss. Forbes estimates Swift is worth $1.6 billion, making her the second richest musician in the world. It's estimated Kelce is worth about $50 million. And with income like that, it's pretty nice they give us a tight shot of the ring. A large, old mine, brilliant cut diamond with an 18-karat gold band designed by Kelce himself and Kindred Lubeck of Artifacts Fine Jewelry right here in New York City. So far, no one's saying for sure just how much the ring is worth, but estimates run from $500,000 to $1 million. And one more note about that first time Swift watched Kelce in Arrowhead Stadium. There you see it, center field, singing the national anthem in front of Taylor Swift. Yours truly. What an experience. Oh, the world is down bad. Get it? Down bad for this news. So we have to bring in our Swiftie mastermind, ABC's own Will Gans. Will, let's start with the fact that Taylor and Travis made this announcement together on Instagram, sharing it with the world. And first of all, how are you feeling about all this?
I was on a flight when this news broke, and I got just as many text messages about Taylor and Travis getting engaged than I did about my own engagement like a couple of months ago. So that's where we're at today, yes.
Yeah, so what do you make about the date? Is there some sort of significance about today's date?
So there might be. First of all, it's August. She has a song from Folklore called August, and it's a very romantic song about, you know, living for the hope of it all. So people think that that might be something. It's also the 26th. 13 is, of course, Taylor's lucky number. She has always identified with that number. 13 twice is 26. So people are saying, has she found her perfect match, her other, 13? Could it be that? I personally think it might be nothing. I think that this might be something that lives outside of the big mastermind plan of it all. And it might just be Taylor living her life and having this really lovely thing happen to her that wasn't organized and thought out in advance. I think this might live outside of the numerology of Taylor Swift.
Yeah, so happy for them. So your friends are reacting. You got all the messages, but fans and the internet, blowing up
it's
across
unbelievable.
The globe.
Yeah, so as of right now, 20 million people have liked that Instagram post. The most liked Instagram post of all time has 74 million likes. So she's already a quarter of the way there, and it's only been a few hours since this post has been up. The other thing that I want to point out is the little dynamite emoji at the end. That might be confusing to people, right? So dynamite, sometimes is written on the side TNT. So people are saying Travis and Taylor, TNT, is that what the dynamite emoji is for? So I think why this feels like such a victory for Swifties, right, is Taylor has shared everything with us in her songs throughout her entire career, the heartbreak, the really tough moments. I mean, 2 albums ago, she wrote a lyric that said, "I wouldn't marry me either, a pathological people pleaser." So she has like shared all of the heartbreak with us. And this moment is such a reminder that love will find you when it's meant to find you. So I think that's why this is resonating so strongly. It feels like a royal engagement for America. You know, people have been rooting for this moment for a really long time. So yeah, to say the internet is losing its collective mind is putting it mildly, I think.
Her fans have been along for the ride, along with her for so many years on this journey, and now to see her finally find love, I mean, it's so romantic.
It's incredible. I mean, on New Heights, she said that this is what she used to write songs about. She used to dream about things like this, love like this, finding her, and now it has, which is so special.
And so speaking of New Heights, she was on that podcast just about 2 weeks ago, and it was so cute to see her and Travis. There they are on it, which has 20 million views, by the way, on YouTube. So what does that say to you now that they've announced their engagement? Was this part of the plan? Do you think this was strategic? Appear on the podcast, get all the attention 2 weeks ago, and deliver the news today?
So what I really took away from that podcast is that, you know, she's written music about Travis. We know that the song So High School, which she referenced in the Instagram post, is about him. And I think that this really indicates that her public persona, what we are getting on stage from her, and her person is a lot closer together than we thought it was going to be. And do I think that that was planned, what they talked about on that podcast? She did reference getting together, being able to do something within 16 months. And people were like, was that an Easter egg? What was 16 months? So now we're thinking maybe is the wedding going to be 16 months from now, which would put us at a December 2026 wedding. And I don't know, she has a song called New Year's Day. I'll be cleaning up bottles with you on New Year's Day. So maybe a New Year's Eve wedding next year. You heard it here first.
Heard it here first. Will, thank you so much.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Today was a fairy tale.
I see what you did there.
Yes, thank
Well
you for
done.
being here. All right, coming up here on ABC News Live Prime, an ABC News exclusive. Actor Bruce Willis's wife sits down with our very own Diane Sawyer to discuss the rare form of dementia plaguing her husband, their struggles, and her advice to caregivers. And later in the show, the daring evacuations involving the U.S. and Canadian Coast Guards and Air Force as well, when a cruise ship suffers 2 medical emergencies in one day. That's coming up. Now to an ABC News exclusive. Bruce Willis revealing 2.5 years ago that he's been diagnosed with a little-known form of dementia, frontotemporal dementia. There are at least 50,000 families dealing with this in the United States. Unlike Alzheimer's, it strikes early. The average age is 56 years old. And now his wife, Emma, is telling the world about their struggle in a new book, offering a roadmap to caregivers. She sat down one-on-one with Diane Sawyer and told her why she's speaking out to help caregivers know they're not alone on the hard path ahead.
Diane, you're here. I'm here. Here we are. Oh, it's great. It's so nice to see you. How are you? It's so nice to see you.
This is Emma Hemming Willis, a self-described lifelong introvert.
See if you're comfortable. Sure.
Steeling herself to talk in front of cameras.
Okay.
Something she never sought and never planned. For 16 years, she's been the shy wife of the irrepressible Bruce Willis, one of America's favorite action stars.
Welcome to the party, pal!
He could take down a battalion of bad guys and then nail an old Bing Crosby song.
Oh, won't you rather be a fish? A fish is an animal that swims in a brook. You can't write his name or read a book.
The all-American kid from New Jersey, who built a towering career, more than 70 movies.
Hey, I'm John McClane.
And of course, that beat-up cop who rouses himself to save the world one more time.
Come out to the coast, we'll get together, have a few laughs.
It's the king of the blockbuster franchises, Die Hard. And in person, he was the mischievous guy who urged everyone to sing and celebrate life every day. He dropped by year after year at Good Morning America.
Well, Bruce Willis dropped in the other day.
And
now Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis.
Oh, no. You are so cool. You know, you are really cool.
Even in the commercial breaks, we keep talking about everything. After he and actress Demi Moore divorced, he pushed me to set him up with a nice girl. And are you sufficiently ready?
Can I interview Diane today? Can't you find me?
You know what I discovered?
Find someone for me. You must meet so many people.
See, you say that, but... And then he found her, his quiet dream girl who shared his working class values, a model who helped earn money for her family, and most of all dreamed of a stable home. And as we said, Bruce Willis grew up in blue-collar New Jersey. He was just 29 years old when he changed the game on TV in a new series called Moonlighting.
David! Could I have a minute of your time, please?
Take two, they're small. What can make me feel this way, my girl? My girl!
Opposites attract. And I just loved watching him be him.
16 years ago, they had a tiny wedding on the beach and the joyful ride began. They were the famously blended Willis family. 2 marriages, 5 daughters. His oldest daughters, Rumor, Scout, and Tallulah. And then with Emma, he has 2 more girls, Mabel and Evelyn. The original girl dad.
One of the best.
And the thing he said most was, live it up. The exact quote, live it up every moment, every day. It'll be over in a ginger snap.
Yes, can be.
And now 49-year-old Emma Hemming Willis is going to tell the story of an unexpected journey. She has written a book shining a light on the little-known disease that ambushed her husband 3 years ago, and giving a lifeline to caregivers. If they are reeling, panicked, so was she. She says the subtle symptoms began when she noticed the buoyant girl dad seemed subdued.
For someone who was very talkative and very engaged, he was just a little more quiet, and when the family would get together, he would kind of just melt a little bit.
He seemed to be losing words. A childhood stutter reappeared, and he was just less engaged in their lives.
Felt a little removed, very cold, not like Bruce, who is very warm and affectionate. To going the complete opposite of that was alarming and scary.
Imagine a marriage that has been tight and beautiful, and suddenly the person that you're living with has no empathy or concern for you or your family.
Dr. Bruce Miller. He is not Bruce Willis's doctor, but he is a leading expert on frontotemporal dementia. The disease Emma Hemming Willis had no idea was stalking her family. It strikes early. The mean age is 56.
This is really the unknown disease. People weren't aware of it really until the 1990s. The research on this has really just begun.
You know, FTD can be diagnosed as bipolar, midlife crisis, depression, and and a lot of doctors don't know about FTD.
But finally, a brain scan confirmed Bruce Willis has the black belt of dementias. FTD is the dementia that savagely eats away at the front and sides of the brain, causing a person to start losing words, dimming connection to others. When you notice a change in someone you love,
yes,
how do you track it?
I think the constellation of symptoms, loss of drive, loss of empathy, addiction, compulsive behaviors, loss of executive control. These symptoms becoming progressive is very, very worrisome.
When her life is cracking apart, she's given a pamphlet and told there's nothing to be done, no cure, no hope.
And to leave there with nothing, just nothing, with a diagnosis I couldn't pronounce. I didn't understand what it was.
I can only imagine the panic.
I was so panicked. And I just remember hearing it and just not hearing anything else. It was like I was free falling.
And how did Bruce react? I don't know if he was reluctant or not to go to a doctor, or if he even understood there was a reason you were doing it.
I don't think Bruce ever really connected the dots.
Dr. Miller says this is a common reaction of FTD patients.
The patient is incredibly unaware of what is happening. I think the parts of the brain that allow us to suffer and self-reflect are lost very early in frontotemporal dementia.
A family sees an old life retreat forever into memory. An inevitable new reality arrives.
Bruce is still very mobile. Bruce is in really great health overall. You know, it's just his brain that is failing him.
But the language is...
Yeah, the language is going. And, you know, we've learned to adapt, and we have a way of communicating with him, which is just a different way.
Were there days that it would be Bruce again?
Yeah, I mean, we still get those days. Not days, but we get moments. It's his laugh, right? Like, he has such a hearty laugh. And, you know, sometimes you'll see that twinkle in his eye or that smirk. And, you know, I just get like transported. And it's just hard to see that. Because as quickly as those moments appear, then it goes. So it's hard. But I'm grateful. I'm grateful that, you know, my husband is still very much here.
Such a tough journey. Our thanks to Emma Willis and Diane Sawyer for that heartbreaking conversation. Emma's book, The Unexpected Journey, Finding Strength, Hope, and Yourself on the Caregiving Path, is in stores September 9th and is available for pre-order now. Diane also got to spend time with Bruce, plus talk more with Emma about her journey as a caregiver. You can see much more in Emma and Bruce Willis, The Unexpected Journey, a Diane Sawyer special that is streaming tomorrow on Hulu and Disney+. Coming up here on Prime, feeling lucky? The 7th largest jackpot in Powerball history is up for grabs this week. And the Williams sisters are back. Venus taking to the court and one of the biggest rivalries in tennis history. Serena Williams honoring Maria Sharapova and the unlikely fashionista who's to thank for bringing them together. How a police officer on Kauai managed to carry a hiker in need of medical aid on his back for a mile. What you need to know about the recall of a popular Hostess snack and the unexpected moment of sportsmanship at the U.S. Open. These stories and more in tonight's Rundown. It was a rare sight for passengers on board the Ruby Princess cruise ship off the coast of Washington state. 2 passengers suffered medical emergencies and had to be medevaced by separate helicopters. A 52-year-old passenger suffered cardiac arrest and was on life support. And a 99-year-old passenger had a complete obstruction of the esophagus. U.S. and Canadian Coast Guard crews, together with the Royal Canadian Air Force, hoisted the patients to safety and then transported them to receive medical care. Feeling lucky? The Powerball jackpot has now soared to an estimated $815 million for the next drawing on Wednesday night, making it the 7th largest prize in game history. The jackpot has an estimated cash value of $367.9 million. Odds of winning the jackpot are an estimated 1 in 292.2 million. Good luck. Hostess is issuing a nationwide recall for one of its most popular products because of the potential presence of mold. Parent company J.M. Smucker is recalling some single-serve, 10-count, and family-size packages of Hostess Ding Dongs. The products have Best Buy dates ranging from August 30th to September 3rd, 2025. Hostess brands emphasized their commitment to health and safety and apologized to customers. New video shows a police officer on the Hawaiian island of Kauai making a rescue earlier this summer. Kauai police officer Matthew Vanaken responded to a report of a missing hiker on a cliffside trail. The officer found him about a mile in, suffering from severe muscle cramping and dehydration. The hiker is heard on body-worn camera audio saying he can't walk.
Yeah, I'm thinking I might need to take you up on that carry.
Let's do it. Come on.
For a mile, Vanaken carried the hiker on his shoulders along the rough trail, eventually reaching medics waiting at the trailhead. The hatchet is buried.
I know I'm probably the last person you would be expecting to see here tonight.
23-time Grand Slam winner and tennis champion Serena Williams drew gasps as she appeared at Wimbledon winner Maria Sharapova's induction into the Tennis Hall of Fame. The pair famously had a tense rivalry on and off the court. At the ceremony in Newport, Rhode Island, Williams revealed the pair hit it off at the Met Gala, striking a friendship.
I think we have Anna Wintour to thank for that.
Meanwhile, older sister Venus Williams ended her run at the U.S. Open, losing to the number 11 ranked player. 45-year-old Williams was cheered as the match ended, saying she was very proud. And while fall is nearly a month away, fans of Starbucks' pumpkin spice latte will be delighted to see the popular drinks return starting today. The PSL returns alongside the pumpkin cream cold brew and iced pumpkin cream chai, and a new offering, the pecan oat milk cortado. Disney's Searchlight Pictures is releasing The Roses this week. It's a new take on the late 80s classic, The War of the Roses. The film stars Academy Award nominee Benedict Cumberbatch opposite Academy Award winner Olivia Colman with an all-star supporting cast, and directed by Jay Roach, famous for the Austin Powers and Meet the Parents franchises. Our Will Reeves sat down with Cumberbatch and Roach to talk about the movie.
This is a reimagining of The War of the Roses, the classic from 1989. Why did you both want to take another crack at this in a slightly different way?
It's a good question. I was a little hesitant at first just because I liked the original film so much. I'm such a Danny DeVito fan, but it just goes to a different connection to the characters and their connection to each other. And it's almost like a remarriage comedy for a lot of it. You keep thinking, oh, they're gonna get it back together, and they're trying really hard and they care about each other. And so that it becomes more of a cautionary tale than I think the original.
When you think of how love and marriage and gender roles were considered in 1989 when The War of the Roses came out, and lots changed in the ensuing decades to today, what holds true as far as the film is concerned, the ground that it covers, and what is new and updated?
I think that the fundamental is still the same, which is just about two people who are in love but don't get a part of it right when there's conflict. They get locked into their own story, they lose sight of one another, and they become entrenched in this hurt, this anger, this reprising kind of revenge. I mean, it's taken to a sort of comedically dark extreme, but at the core, very differently, like you said about the original, they do still love each other, I think, in this film.
You're a bottomless pit of need!
I remember Benedict said to me early on, I said, I think after people watch this, they're going to turn to each other and say, wow, we should talk a lot more and try to always figure out how to work around our most selfish tendencies.
How would you describe your character, Theo?
I'm going to leave some long pauses in the conversation for you to insert an apology.
He is impulsive. He's forthright. He knows himself very well. He's very sort of emotionally intuitive, and he goes with his feelings. He's slightly obsessive. I would say vain towards narcissistic at times, and yet capable of incredible love. He's a caring partner and a caring parent.
Oh God, it's like a plague.
Can you show me when you find some? How did they die?
Well, the conditioner stuns them, and then I take them off the comb and I break their backs.
Jay, you have just an amazing cast to work with.
Yeah.
Olivia, Benedict, Kate McKinnon, Andy Samberg, Allison Janney, and more. What does that feel like to have so many sharp tools to craft this thing?
I mean, it's everything to me. I love casting movies, and I love to surround my favorite actors with other of my favorite actors, because then I know when they start sparking, stuff's just going to happen. And you throw, Benedict and Olivia into the situation. I was dying to work with them, and they hadn't worked together before, I don't think.
No.
And then to pull Kate McKinnon in, who's such a wild card and just changes the sort of atmosphere, everything she's involved in. And
that was a real coup. We're both her and Andy. Like that was,
and they're so different how they come at comedy. We shot this whole long dinner scene where all of them are around the table, but just watching people react. You throw Kate into it, and she'll do all the scripted lines, but then she'll go off on some other wild place. And Andy was such a great person to dial some of it back in, but then he's still hilarious. And then watching these two guys try to keep it together while they're also going at each other in that dinner scene, it's one of my favorite things I've ever worked on.
It's infused with tarragon, it adds a bit of bitterness.
Ivy likes to leave a little bit of herself in everything she does.
This film is both funny and dark and dramatic, so how did you as a director and then you as an actor figure out the balance so that you're not going too far off in one direction so that the other feels dissonant?
That's a good question. And again, we started with a script that just got that tone. Tony's work and other things that people may know, The Great, Poor Things, and The Favorite, he's just a master of stretching tone beyond where you might be able to. It can be very comedy driven, but it's always grounded in a character design that makes everything that happened inevitable. So it's well put, well set up, but then it's so much better than you expect.
The dinner party scene is one of them. In amongst all of that, there's this warring couple, and it's pretty awful what they are saying to each other, what they're doing to each other publicly, but it's misinterpreted culturally as a witty, barbed sort of lobbing of funnies by the Americans, so they try it with disastrous effect.
I love this fun banter you guys do. Sometimes Ivy's mad at me and I can't even tell.
You're holding the plumb line of some kind of truth and movement through the drama of where they're at in the story. But at the same time, as an audience, you're reveling in the comedy of it.
What sort of reaction do you think people who go see the film will have upon reflecting on how the story applies or doesn't apply to their own life and relationship?
It's a really good question. I mean, I really hope this is a kind of date night film where people go there, but for the grace of God, go on. We may have our moments, but thank God we're not there. But also, I think there's a huge amount of positives to take away, which is that you just don't lose sight of each other. Keep each other in mind. Don't get lost in your own story. Don't let the ego take over. Let there be a conversation. Keep that thing between you alive. That third thing, which is the relationship. There's you and there's her, or there's you and them, or he and she, whatever the dynamic is. But there's this thing between you. There's a third part of that. And that is separate to either of you, but utterly involving and entwined with both of you. So keep that thing alive.
Our thanks to Will Reeve for that lovely conversation. The Roses, produced by Disney's Searchlight Pictures, will be in theaters starting this Friday, August 29th. ABC News, by the way, is also owned by Disney. And that is our show for this hour. I'm Stephanie Ramos. Stay tuned to ABC News Live for more context and analysis of the day's top stories. Thank you for streaming with us.